Welcome to the Magical Portal, where we talk about what goes into creating the photos.
Today we will show you a bit about what goes into our Lucia shots. The pictures we are creating for Lucia, the places, the lights, and the styling. So if you're keen to do your own, then you will love this. And Lucia is a tradition in Sweden, which is mainly, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's mainly about bringing the light into the darkness. Everyone have their own association with Lucia. And we have a lot of traditions around the performances. She's walking in her white dress with the red ribbon and the crown with the lights on her head. And it's something we do in Sweden in schools, and we do it. It's also a religious tradition. There is so much more behind it as well. But it's a really beautiful tradition that a lot of Swedish people enjoy. And I also want to add that there are other places in the world where Lucia is celebrated, but I'm just talking from a Swedish person's point of view. And today we will show you what happens when you mix photography with this beautiful tradition. This is probably one of my personal favorite Lucia shots. And the inspiration behind this picture was I wanted to bring a bit more Nordic, like almost Viking vibes to Lucia, because it's a bit more, I feel like the nature where I live is a bit more rustic, and I wanted the image to be a bit more rustic and flirt with the legends of Lucia. Is a lot about the light, and therefore I also decided to bring in the northern lights. So this picture was taken, I think it was in the afternoon when it was getting dark. We only have a few hours of light. So this is the before picture, and then this is how I edited the normal edit. You can switch to the next one, yeah. And then I decided to bring it into Photoshop to actually add a bit of a more mysterious vibe and a bit more fairy tale vibe. So yes, this is probably one of my favorites. And it was shot, I don't know why this is a really old picture as well. I think I took it 2021 maybe. So I don't know why the ISO was 5000 and the aperture at 2.5. But yeah, this is what I shot.
Yeah, I love it. It's so beautiful.
I think you also have another picture where it's just like a classic. Yeah, I just wanted to show that this is what the crown looks like that we usually wear. And yeah, I think the coat just added a bit more Nordic vibes to it.
Yeah, I really love it. And for me, I don't do the traditional crown. I got very inspired by bringing light into the dark. So I wanted to add light in the dark forest. So where I live, we don't get much snow. So I had to find a dark forest, which isn't very hard to do because this is what it looks like everywhere in December. So I found this branch which I painted white and added lights, a light string, or what do you call it? Fairy lights.
The fairy lights, yes.
Yeah, and then I made a crown with some like green leaves and added fairy lights in that as well. And yeah, that's how I created this light in the dark, and I love this photo very much. If I was to take it again, I would probably have a much faster shutter speed because I don't know why it was super dark. It was late in the afternoon, and yeah, it's many years ago, and I I remember it was a little bit windy, so most pictures my dress was like a bit blurry. So I don't know why I had such a low ISO and slow shutter speed. So yeah, that's what I would change if I was to do this again, I think. Yeah.
This is a picture I took last year because for a few years I've been doing Lucia pictures for, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years. And every year I want to do it slightly differently just to add some variation to it. And I love the traditional style a lot, but this year, last year, I was in Madeira and I wanted to do a more cottage core kind of vibe to it. So for the crown, we actually use I picked fern leaves from Madeira, and I just added it to the crown. And the band, like normally Lucia would have a red tie, but I bought from a local shop, I bought a different color, which was kind of red, but I wanted it to go more with the fern leaves. And the dress is a bit more beige, so it's linen, and she has a blanket, shawl over her shoulders. And I wanted it to just be a bit more, I don't know, cozy somehow. And it's shot in the Fennel Forest, which is one of my absolute favorite places. So this is, it was a very special moment, and I had to use a lantern as well because this was way past sunset and I needed something, because when you have the lights, I kind of always expose for the lights or where the lights are touching. So in this case, I would have had to expose for the crown and the candles on top of her head, meaning that her face would be completely in the shadows and very, very dark. So I had to add a lantern in front of her face so she could get some light on her face as well. Otherwise, it would be more like a Halloween kind of vibe to this picture, I think.
Love it. It's beautiful. And I have another with the branch with fairy lights, and I hated this photo when I took it because it looked like this. It was a complete disaster. I don't know why I had like ISO 400 when I'm shooting in the dark. Well, maybe because the fairy lights are so bright. They are so overexposed. And I was trying to get the Milky Way, and that's me standing under the stars. It's on a golf course with green grass, and it was just, I just didn't like it at all. But then, like some weeks later, I opened it up and I was like, maybe I can at least try to edit this the way I saw it in my head when I took it. It was very windy, very, very cold night. I opened it in Photoshop, and I think a few hours later, I managed to get a photo that I actually love to this day.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and I think the green grass was like my biggest, how do I get rid of this green grass? It was
the very short grass on a golf course is very hard to make dreamy.
Yeah, it's not natural at all. So I actually flipped the photo and made it look more like me was standing in water or something, and I ended up loving this. This is one of my favorite Lucia-inspired photos, actually.
It looks like it's taken in outer space almost.
Yeah, exactly. And I managed to get the Milky Way a little bit, even if it was very dark from the beginning.
I'm impressed that you could get both the stars and those really, really strong fairy lights.
Me too.
Exposed for both. That's not so easy.
I know. I was impressed as well, but it took a bit of editing to get it to look like this.
I think that's one of the biggest challenges when it comes to shooting. First of all, when you're shooting with candles, especially if you want to have them on top of your head, I think the best time of the day, please tell me if you have a different opinion, but I think for me, the best time of the day is to do it when the sun is setting, when it's blue hour twilight, because then you can still see a bit about the surroundings. Like you can see a bit of the forest, you can see a bit of the place where you're shooting, but you can also, if you expose for the candles and the bright patches, then you get this really dark, almost like nightly feel. But if you're doing it when it's dark and exposing for the candles, then it's gonna be, you won't be able to see anything in the background or the surroundings. And very often, also in church, I feel like, because very often when you go and watch the beautiful ceremony in the church, then it's like the Lucia, she has this crown on her head, and then you can't see her face.
Exactly.
So I feel like a torch, like I had in the first picture, or a lantern, you almost need something to light up the face, unless you have a lot of light from the surroundings.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's like the biggest takeaway from this. If you want to take photos with fairy lights or candles or any light and look like it would be taken during the night, don't take it during the night when it's completely dark. Take it like during blue hour, because I think that's the best way. Yeah.
And also, if you are shooting, I mean, it's difficult if you want to catch the Milky Way, but if you have a very strong light, like if the lamp is strong, the stronger the daylight is, the stronger your the artificial light, like the candles or the fairy lights, the stronger they have to be in order to get the effect in the pictures. So the later or the darker the surroundings are, the lower light. So if you have one that you can dim up and down, that's probably the easiest to shoot with. So if you have a lantern that can be dimmable, so you have a really bright when you start, and then as the surroundings get darker, you just kind of turn the light down a little bit. I find that for me, that's the easiest way to shoot, especially in blue hour, because depending on where you are, it can go fast, and it can also take a really long time before it gets dark.
Yeah, so this is a completely overexposed. So I think if I was to shoot like this again, I would find different fairy lights that aren't that bright when I still want to get the stars, for example, if I'm not able to shoot during blue hour. So that's like,
because then you can have longer shutter speed.
Exactly. And I don't have to like overexpose the lights and underexpose the sky. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from this, and we are learning as we do, you and I.
Yes, definitely. It's actually taught me a lot about photography, and I think also when it comes to, if you want to do your own shoot, don't be afraid to I mean, it's really easy to think first what she actually looks like, the white dress and the red ribbon and like the crown. That's probably the first picture that most people take, but don't be afraid to experiment and just, I don't know, take your own take on it. Like, okay, well, I want something that's kind of flirting with Lucia, but I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, make it your own. Like, it doesn't have to look the traditional way. It's actually almost more fun to experiment, like you have done, obviously, in your pictures.
Yeah, like I love this light in the dark thing, and that's what I want to create, light in the dark. So yeah, I just took that as the inspiration for my photos.
So if you want to shoot, try to do your own Lucia, experiment with different lights. Like you can use the traditional crown, you can use something else, fairy lights or lanterns. And don't forget something that can actually light up the face of the model, especially if you're shooting in blue hour. And try to experiment with your own style. Don't be afraid to bring in your unique touch, because that almost makes it more interesting. And if you like the before and afters, we have a lot of before and afters inside the magical portal. And you will find the descriptions below. We also show you how we do when we edit. So we hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.